think of your podcast as a tool that works for you. It's an excuse to meet people you want to meet. It's long form content to feed all your social media platforms, to repurpose till the cows come home, like I keep saying. It is where you can create content that serves your ideal client, that gets them to binge and fall in love with you. Hey, my name is Olivia D'Souza. I'm dedicated to helping multi-passionate entrepreneurs turn their dreams into reality by building a career and a life they love and making a positive impact in the world. I'm a podcast and social media manager, a singer-songwriter, a kids music creator, a fadishta, a wife and a mum. I'm the secret weapon behind many 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs, helping them shine a light and call in the people they are here to serve. And now I'm here to help you. This podcast is here to help you learn and be inspired. You'll learn about podcasting, lead generation, business, and all about the real life stories of people behind the businesses just like you. Think of it as a place to hang out with your like-minded business bestie who gets what it's like. So grab a cuppa and hit subscribe so we can hang out again. This is Magnetic Pod, the podcast.
I am here and I'm ready to be brave. Cannot miss me, I'll stand on every stage. I'm available for my destiny to reach my people. Gonna be a star, so if you pass.
So you want to know how you can make money from your podcast. You want to know how you can get more downloads so you can get sponsorship. So I've got good news and bad news. First, the bad news. It's not bad news, but the bad news is there's no overnight magic pill that'll make your podcast explode overnight unless you got stacks of money behind you, okay? Growing your podcast, unless you've got a deal with Spotify like you're Meghan Markle or something, and the rest of us, it takes time. You have to consistently create the content, market it, get it out there, do some podcast guesting, cut up the video and put it out in TikTok and YouTube and all of the things to draw the listenership and grow it. So that takes time. It's worthwhile. And it's an asset that keeps working for you long after you've put the effort in and can keep making you money. But that part takes time. So if you're wanting to meet sponsorship criteria to be able to just click on something like inside Podbean or whichever platform you're on that allows advertising, that may take a little while. But the good news is that's not the only way to make money, and that you don't even need to have a huge listener base to be making money from your podcast. Let's get into it. So it all comes back into thinking about your business, and the podcast fits within the business. So what are your goals overall? What are you trying to achieve? And how can the podcast help you to do that? It is part of your marketing strategy, and it's part of your networking and making relationships strategy. Relationships are a key way of getting business. So podcasting can help with both of that. What you want to do is reverse engineer. I keep thinking of examples that are actual clients that I don't want to give away that I'm talking about them. So let's think of hypotheticals. That's why I keep talking about my own experience. Basically, for me, if I want to create a podcast, I want to get in front of entrepreneurs. I am often in front of entrepreneurs who are making a life on their own terms, interested in working on their terms with time freedom, doing something that has a positive impact on the world, will make them money, do good in the world, and something that they're passionate about. I make content designed for those people. Often the people we design content for and are our niche are really us. I'm creating a content a lot of the time for people like me. That's another reason why I'll share personal details about what's happening in my life and that kind of thing to a point, because it calls out the people that can relate to me, because I'm not going to be for everybody, but it calls out the people that can relate to me, what I'm like, and waves a flag. So who are your people? What do they need to know about? The other thing is, what we need to get to is the fact that from a marketing point of view, there are 3 pillars, right? So you've got attraction, nurturing, and conversion. You create the content to attract them and to warm them up. How they know it's for them is when you're speaking to them in words that relate to them. Do some research about who your target is, and that can include things like going back through emails from your clients, and prospective clients, and you could keep a file somewhere in a Notion tab or in a Google document. It's an example of your client voice. some reasons why they need your services, a problem that they're having, the frustrations that they're having. You can look at Facebook groups, whether you have your own Facebook group with your own community in it or people that are in your niche, and notice what they're saying they need help with, and keep a little record somewhere. And you can use this as a record of your client's actual voice. So obviously you're not going to copy and paste someone's private words all over your social media or your marketing. But then when you do create content, you're speaking to those actual things and that they care about, and you're helping them. So that's one way you can attract them. But it's not all about pain points and problems and things relating directly to the product and service. You might include some content that you know attracts the ideal person that is your ideal client. So you might also know that they care a lot about world environment. Or for me, I know that a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs, and a lot of entrepreneurs happen to be neurodiverse, not all of them. So if you're talking about topics that relate to them, or if it's time management and managing having kids at home, but issues that maybe even aren't directly related to the product and services, but that can become part of what attracts them and what nurtures them and helps them to get to know you. The other thing is, don't waste your podcast giving away wonderful, life-changing information that they're all getting for free. Actually, don't be scared to put a little call to action in there. You can either record it straight into your podcast, or you can use dynamic content, which is why I love Buzzsprout. I'll put a link to Buzzsprout in the show notes. I might get like a cup of coffee or something if you use my link. I think we could both get an Amazon card, actually. So let's do that. But with Buzzsprout, there's no eligibility requirement. You can go ahead and put dynamic content. What on earth is dynamic content? If you haven't heard of that, you can insert an ad into your podcast, either beginning, middle, or end, and you can update it and you can take it out and change it for something else, and it's not burned into the podcast forever. So that is huge. That is so good. So you can put things like how that you're giving away a freebie, people can opt in, and then you get their email address, and you can promote whatever product or special or thing that you've got going in there. So yeah, that comes under conversion. But the other thing you can do, there's other ways to convert. It might be that if you have a tribe happening, if you have people that you're building a following and love being connected, then you could set up a Patreon. You could set up a membership. You could do merchandise. I've got a client who I think should, and I hope she does do merchandise, because she's got a great name and a great community who very much feel part of that community. The other way to monetize is by affiliate links. So if someone is on your podcast and they have a book, you could put a link to the book in your description, and it can be an Amazon affiliate link. So you get a little bit from that. Basically, the thing to remember with podcasting is that you are growing an audience and converting them to get them on your email list. Then you can let them know what your offers are and what the things are, the services and the stuff that you provide. You give them value, but you also let them know what you've got to offer, and you do it to help them for some reason. And I find it a little bit baffling. There are people that I see who talk about pain points like it's something skeezy and manipulative and bad. And I don't understand. Unless you malintentioned person, and no one that I deal with is, then what's the problem? Basically, if you have a business, you are there to solve a problem. You talk about the problem someone has. That's what a pain point is. You let them know that you can help them with the problem, and the problem will go away. What's the problem with that? I don't see a problem. Okay. The other way that you can monetize your podcast is through using it as a tool for networking. For example, if you want to sell children's books and you're an author for children's books, you might start having librarians on your podcast, librarians from schools, librarians from anywhere. You might want to talk to bookshop owners, and you might have an excuse to put them on your podcast. And if they're getting something out of it because they're getting to promote themselves, then you're not having to pitch them. You're not having to say, hey, I got a book. Will you sell my book? But you can expand your network, and you can speak to publishers. You can speak to anyone that it might be strategic for you to know. Think of your podcast as a tool that works for you. It's an excuse to meet people you want to meet. It's long form content to feed all your social media platforms, to repurpose till the cows come home, like I keep saying. And it is where you can create content that serves your ideal client, that gets them to binge and fall in love with you. The other thing I want to say is that you can use in your content is to address objections. If someone would buy from you, but they're worried about XYZ, and you can use this if anyone ever asks you, if you're in a sales situation or whatever, and they've gone, will I get return on investment working with you? Who are the other people you've helped get results? They might say, will this help in my situation that's about this, whatever questions people ask you or fears or worries or reservations people might have, criticisms, anything potentially negative or a bit scary that might be a question that's asked you or that they're wondering and don't ask you. If you can determine what those are, marketing is brilliant for this. So instead of potentially feeling like a deer in the headlights when you're asked these questions on a sales call, you can have already addressed all of those objections and proven yourself in your marketing. By the time people call you, they've had all those fears and everything allayed because you have already said that, answered those fears and objections and reservations in your marketing content. So that's another way that makes you money because you're getting closer to the sale when you deal with all those issues. Okay, in wonderful ADHD fashion, I think I meandered all over the place, but hopefully you got all my points. I'm going to leave it there. Let me know if you've got any questions and anything you want to know more about. And you can contact me at livymusicmedia.com. And I will see you next time. Bye.
So, what were your key takeaways from today? Did it raise any questions? What would you like to know more about? Let me know. You can contact me via social media or email. I don't care which way you use, just reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. And remember, you can get access to lots of free podcast resources that will help you get started or help you improve your podcast at livymusicmedia.com/freebies. Hit subscribe because I want to see you again. But for now, go forth, be the awesome person you are, live the life you want to live, and have fun. You've got this. See you next time.
Show them who I be, unavoidable everywhere you see me. Reach my people, claim my power. There's no hierarchy. It is me and the universe, baby. Rock solid and so ready to reach my people.
Hello, it's Livy here. Have you ever wondered about what the key elements are that make a podcast truly stand out? Or maybe you're thinking about starting your own special podcast and feel a bit overwhelmed and don't know where to start. Well, I have something for you. Introducing the Ultimate Podcast Checklist. Da, 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 da. It's a step-by-step guide that covers everything from the initial brainstorming to advanced growth strategies. It's the perfect companion for both new and seasoned podcasters. And the best part, it's absolutely free. Da, 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 da. To grab your copy, simply head to the show notes of this episode and you will find a direct link there, and then away you go. Remember, every podcast started with that initial spark and the right resource, so let the Ultimate Podcasting Checklist be yours.